If you're the SaaS founder or the CEO of a successful SaaS business, scaling your SaaS business is likely top of mind. Having worked with over 250 SaaS founders and CEOs, there are 3 common mistakes that I see all the time when you're actively looking to scale your SaaS business. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 3 exact mistakes to avoid. And when you do the opposite of these, you will be able to accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS business faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon where you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. Now, if you're already part of this community, if you're part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching programs, my people, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. So in my experience in the SaaS industry, I took Toutapp from 0 to 1 million, and then 1 to 3 million, and then 3 to 6 million. We then sold Toutapp, and I joined Marketo as a member of their executive team as their SVP of strategy, and that was driving towards $500 million in ARR. And then since then, we sold Marketo to Adobe. Since then, I've worked with over 250 SaaS founders and CEOs, anywhere from pre-revenue upwards of 100 million in revenue, in growing their SaaS businesses. As I've gone through the twists and turns of this road, I've seen some patterns on exactly where SaaS founders and leadership teams go wrong, the mistakes they made as they are looking to get to that next stage of growth. And depending on when you're watching this video, it could be growth at all costs, or it could be predictable growth and profitable growth. Either way, there's 3 mistakes that come up all the time. So in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through those 3 mistakes. And if you do the opposite of these, then you will be able to accelerate your path to that next stage of growth. So if you're excited to dig into principle number 1, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. Let's dig right into it. Okay, so the first thing that I work on with founders and leadership teams when I work with them, and even when I think about my own SaaS businesses, is the flywheel. This is a SaaS business flywheel. And every successful SaaS business, heck, every single business ever has mastered their flywheel. When you're just starting out, when you're just starting to get to that first stage of growth, all you're trying to do is get those customers. But once you have customers and you have revenues, it's all about the flywheel. And the way the flywheel breaks down is this is your ideal customer profile. This is your target market. And what you're doing is essentially doing a bunch of sales and marketing motions to actually get this flywheel going. So the first piece that you are doing, I'll put these in blue because these are the stages, is acquisition. This is where you're generating leads, you're generating pipelines, you're generating free trials, you're getting attention of your ideal customers. Then you are focusing on activation. Now, depending on whether you are sales-led or product-led, if you are sales-led, you're trying to turn these into real opportunities. If you're product-led, you're trying to get them into active trials. Once you have that, then you're driving towards revenue. If you are sales-led, then this is opportunities 1. If you are product-led, then this is someone swiping the credit card, or maybe a salesperson coming in because it's a hybrid setup and helping them convert to real paid customers. And then it doesn't stop there, because we're SaaS businesses, we're recurring revenue businesses. And so the next piece you're working on is retention, meaning you want happy customers, continuing to pay, continuing to renew, continuing to upsell. And then finally, they're so happy, they're actually driving referrals back into your target market, which is driving even more acquisition. Once you have all of these pieces going, then you have a flywheel. Now, the mistakes that I see when scaling a SaaS business tend to come at each of the inflection points of this flywheel. So the first mistake that I see all the time is founders and leaders that have gotten to the current stage of growth. Let's just say you got to 1 million ARR, or 3 million ARR, or 10 million ARR, or 20 million ARR, or 100 million ARR. In each of those stages, what got you to that point isn't necessarily going to get you to that next stage of growth. For example, I work with a lot of early stage founders. And in the early stages, they go after their target market market, they work on their existing network, their existing contacts, and they get that initial revenue going. But very quickly, they run out of that network. They have no more friends to sell it to, and they still don't have a scalable way to drive growth. Similarly, let's just say you got to 1 million or 3 million. Well, once you got to that point, maybe you got there through 2 SDRs or you just cold emailing and cold calling. But to get to the 10 million, you need to actually get more marketing going. Because if you don't have marketing, you can only hire so many SDRs so quickly and send so many cold emails profitably. And so it ends up being a blocker. And so the number one mistake that I see founders and leaders make when they're looking to scale is not switching from their unscalable strategy, their unstable go-to-market, to a scalable go-to-market. And this essentially focuses right over here. How do you actually get the attention of people? How do you generate demand? How do you capture demand? This needs to turn into a proper go-to-market machine that you're actually executing on. And a lot of times I find people kind of conceptually know, like, yeah, we should be doing a lead magnet, we should be doing ads, we should be doing content, we should be doing SEO. They may have the strategy, but they don't quite know how to actually turn it into action at the scale they need to be to get to that next stage of growth. So mistake number one that I see all the time is sticking to the go-to-market machine or lack thereof, instead of saying, you know what, that got us here. In order to get to this next stage of growth, how do we revamp that go-to-market strategy and the execution so that we can scale our reach and do it more profitably based on everything we have right now? So that's kind of where the first part gets stuck. The second biggest mistake that I see happens all the way over here, the retention. So kind of like how you have to turn this into a real scalable go-to-market machine, a lot of founders and a lot of SaaS leaders, as they are scaling, they get so fixated on this point of acquisition, they don't think about what their retention machine looks like. And what ends up happening is they put so much attention over here, they keep getting customers, but they keep losing customers, so they never hit escape velocity on how to drive growth for their SaaS business. Remember, SaaS businesses are recurring revenue businesses. And so in order for things to compound, you actually need to make sure you're retaining your customers. So the biggest mistake I see over here is basically a lack of a success machine. Now, there are a couple of different things that come into play to do the opposite of this. You want to start thinking about having proper customer success people. You want to make sure you have a customer marketing machine where you're actually enabling them and educating them to take advantage of your product. You want to make sure that you prevent churn by detecting when someone's not actually activating in your product or using your product on a consistent basis. You actually want to make sure that just like how you are building a machine to generate demand and capture demand, you're also generating a machine to keep the demand you already have captured, to keep the customers and the revenue that you already have. Few things that come into this when you actually have a proper success machine, you have actual reduction in churn. So that's obvious, right? That's really good. When you actually have a proper customer success machine, your roadmap actually becomes clearer because your successful customers tell you what you should be building next. And also, when you have a successful machine, you actually have success stories, which you can then take back into your acquisition machine and say, hey, look, here are all our successful customers, which then gets this flywheel going even faster. So not only is retaining the revenue important for the flywheel of the business, retaining the customers and capturing the success stories of the customers and having a proper machine to manage the customer success actually helps you be better in your go-to-market as well, which is really powerful. Now there's a third one which ties this whole thing together. But before I go into the third mistake that people make, and it's often missed, let me just pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this? Are you starting to see the power in how actually building a proper go-to-market strategy that's scalable and executing on it through a go-to-market machine can be the difference maker in actually driving scale? And you're starting to see where instead of just thinking about, well, how do I get new customers, thinking about your business as a full flywheel can actually unlock true scalable growth for your SaaS business. You start to see the power in this. Can I just get a yes in the comments below? And also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. And by the way, if you're operating a SaaS business and you're wondering, well, how do I get this full flywheel going? How do I build a proper go-to-market strategy and execute on it? How do I have a proper customer success discipline? How do I make sure that I'm measuring the right things? This is exactly what I do inside of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this episode. I'll also link to it below. Don't go anywhere yet. Let's go into the third big mistake that founders and leaders make. Okay, the third big mistake that founders make and leaders make is lack of compounding. And this is true for the overall flywheel analogy to begin with. When you get all these pieces going, you start to get this flywheel turning, and it turns faster and faster and faster, meaning the more leads and pipeline and demand that you capture and generate, the more that they activate, the more revenue you make. The more you retain, the more you can get customer success stories, and the more people will buy from you because you start to elevate your brand. The trust starts to go up. So that already gets this flywheel going. Well, if you actually get your best customers to start referring you to your ideal customer profile, that starts moving the flywheel even faster because referral pipeline actually converts way faster at a higher price and the win rate is higher. So it's better quality pipeline because your successful customers are already telling their peers like, hey, this is really great, you got to get in on it. And that makes a world of difference in your sales process. And when you start doing that, I'm going to do this in green, all these pieces start to feed off of each other. The more pipeline you generate, the more they activate, the more they convert to revenue, the more you retain, the more referrals you get, the more people know about you, the more success that you get, the more you feed it in your go-to-market machine, and all these pieces start to fly that flywheel. So all of these pieces actually get your flywheel to move faster and accelerate your growth. This is what true scaling looks like. Everyone thinks that scaling is just like, let's just do more of everything and just spend the money. We all know that doesn't work and that doesn't get rewarded anymore. But if you can meticulously instrument this flywheel, if you can build your scalable go-to-market machine, and when you start to actually make people activate and convert to revenue, and you have a proper customer success discipline, and then you're driving referrals and the success stories back into your go-to-market machine, then your business truly starts to scale. So to recap, mistake number one, you don't build a scalable go-to-market machine. What got you here isn't gonna get you to that next stage. So revamp your go-to-market strategy and execute on that machine, truly. Mistake number two, lack of a success machine. Make sure you have a proper customer success machine. And as you get that going, drive up your retention, but also capture those success stories and feed it back into your go-to-market machine so you can actually accelerate your growth. And as you get your successful customers to be successful and staying and happy, ask them for referrals. And on top of that will further fuel your go-to-market machine. You avoid these three mistakes, the lack of a scalable go-to-market, the lack of a success machine, the lack of compounding. You do the opposite of these. You actually build a scalable go-to-market machine, you build a success machine, you turn on compounding, then you will be able to accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. And that's all you have to do. Now, what you may not know is how do I actually build a scalable go-to-market machine? How do I actually build a proper success machine? How do I build a proper compounding machine, a referral machine? How do I do these three pieces? This is exactly what I do inside of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside this program, I work with you one-on-one to actually help drive growth for your SaaS business using these exact principles that I just gave you. How do we do it? Well, there's three core components to the program. First, we flesh out your ideal customer profile. That's a big part of really building a scalable go-to-market strategy. We really identify how we're going to expand in the market you're already winning at. Number two, we build out a manifesto. A manifesto is your positioning, your messaging. It's how you compete against the competitors in a market. If you're scaling, chances are there is competition and you have to differentiate yourself with a strategic message that really resonates with your customers and attracts their attention. And then lastly, we teach you how to run a Broadway show. A Broadway show is a consistent set of sales and marketing activities, the actual execution of your go-to-market strategy that creates demand and generates demand and captures demand. And when you do these three things, you get this full flywheel going. It's an incredible program. We've shared incredible success stories about the program just on this channel. So if you want to work together, just go to tkcater.com/GTM, tkcater.com/GTM. And on that page, you'll get all the details about the program and what it's like to work with me. If you want to work together, just fill out that little form and we'll get on a call. We'll make sure that we're the right fit. The better the fit, the better the results, and then we're off to the races. We'll work together inside of the SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Just go to tkcater.com/GTM. I'll also link to it below. Also, if you got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Put a lot of love into these videos, and it'll just mean the world to us if you actually hit that like button. Also, if you have a fellow founder, a team member that will also get value from this video, please share this with them. If you're part of a WhatsApp group, a Slack group, a mailing list of other SaaS leaders and founders, please share this video. We do a video like this. The reason we do these is we want to help as many SaaS companies and leadership teams and founders as possible. Also, I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategy and tactics like this. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon where you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. You guessed it, with the TK energy. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is gonna be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode or inside the SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Take care, everybody. Your fly starts to fly, which is, I think I made up, but is it a real thing? Did I do TK energy? I think I did. Hopefully I did.